no reservation under that name. You need to leave.
Not. Reservation exists. Check your system again.
Are you threatening me? I'm calling security right now.
Billionaire Black CEO was denied a room in his own hotel. Minute later, everyone begs for their job. Sir, for the last time, we have no reservation under that name. You need to leave. I'm not leaving. The reservation exists. Check your system again. Are you threatening me? I'm calling security right now. I'm not threatening anyone. I'm trying to check into my room. This is a 5-star hotel. We have standards. People like you can't just walk in here and demand rooms. People like me? Security? Front desk. We have an aggressive individual refusing to leave. Send everyone. I feel unsafe. What you just heard was racial profiling in action. A front desk manager named Patricia Hendricks saw a black man in casual clothes at 1:30 in the morning and decided he was a criminal. She called security. She lied about feeling threatened. She was ready to have him arrested. But Patricia made one catastrophic mistake. The man she was calling the police on was Andre Coleman, CEO of Meridian Hospitality Group. He owned the hotel. He owned the entire chain. And in less than 15 minutes, Patricia would be begging to keep the job she thought was untouchable. This is the story of what happens when bias meets consequences. Welcome to Shady Tales, where racism is exposed, discrimination is challenged, and justice always has the final word. If you believe these stories matter, you're exactly where you should be. Comment where you're watching from and the time right now. Andre Coleman, 57 years old, CEO of Meridian Hospitality Group, 37 luxury hotels across North America. But his story didn't start in boardrooms. It started in housekeeping. Born in Atlanta to a single mother who worked 3 jobs and a father who died of a heart attack at 43. Andre's first job was at the Ritz-Carlton at 14, lying about his age, cleaning rooms. He worked every position. Housekeeping taught him that invisible labor makes visible luxury possible. Front desk taught him that people reveal who they are in how they treat service workers. By 35, he'd convinced investors to back his first hotel acquisition. He transformed it by paying staff above market rate, promoting from within, and instituting zero tolerance for discrimination. Meridian Hospitality Group was born from one philosophy: everyone deserves to be seen. The Meridian Grand in Chicago became his flagship. 43 stories overlooking Lake Michigan. He'd renovated it 5 years ago, visited quarterly, always unannounced. November 14th. Andre's flight from New York landed at 11:47 p.m., 2 hours late. His driver had gone home. He caught an Uber wearing what he'd changed into on the plane: Northwestern hoodie, joggers, sneakers. His suits were lost by the airline. At 1:23 a.m., he walked into his own hotel. And Patricia Hendricks, a front desk manager he'd never met, saw an opportunity to flex her authority on someone she assumed had none. The November wind off Lake Michigan cut through his hoodie as Andre pushed through the revolving doors into the lobby he'd designed. Carrara marble floors, 20-foot ceilings, a kinetic sculpture suspended above the concierge desk. At 1:30 a.m., the lobby was quiet. Andre approached the front desk. Behind it stood Patricia Hendricks, late 40s, blonde, scrolling her phone. She didn't look up for 30 seconds. "Excuse me." Patricia's head snapped up. Her eyes traveled from his sneakers to his face. Something shifted in her expression. A tightening. A judgment rendered in half a second. "Can I help you?" Cold. Suspicious. "I have a reservation. Under Coleman." Patricia's fingers moved across the keyboard, but Andre could tell she wasn't really looking. "I'm not seeing anything." "Could you check again?" "It should be there through Friday." "I said there's nothing." Andre kept his voice even. "Could you check under Meridian Corporate? The booking might be under the corporate code." "Our system?" Patricia's eyebrow arched. "Right. And I'm the Queen of England." "Sir, I don't have time for games. There's no reservation, and frankly, I don't think you can afford to be here anyway." The words landed like stones in the quiet lobby. Other guests looked over. "Excuse me? This is a 5-star hotel. We get people trying to scam free rooms all the time. I know the type when I see it." "The type? Not even coded." Just raw bias delivered with the confidence of someone who believed she had the power. Andre felt the familiar tightness in his chest. His father's voice, "Stay calm, hands visible, don't escalate." But his father had died at 43 from the stress of following those rules. "I have a confirmation email. Let me show you." He reached for his phone. Patricia's hand went to hers. "Don't reach for anything. Keep your hands where I can see them." A security guard near the elevators straightened up. "I'm just getting my phone to show you the confirmation. I don't need to see anything fake. I need you to leave. Now. If you believe everyone deserves dignity regardless of how they're dressed, hit that subscribe button right now. Have you ever been judged based on your appearance? Share your story in the comments." Andre slowly pulled out his phone, showing the confirmation email with the Meridian logo. Patricia barely glanced at it, actually turning her head away. That could be photoshopped. Anyone can fake an email. Then check for available rooms. "I'll book one right now." Patricia's smile was razor-thin. "We're completely booked." Andre glanced past her at the display board showing multiple green indicators. Available rooms on 5 different floors. The board shows open rooms. That's not updated in real time. A smooth lie. "Patricia." He used her name deliberately from her name tag. "I need a room. I'm happy to show you my ID, credit card, anything you need." The use of her name triggered something. Her face flushed red, neck to hairline. "How dare you? I am the front desk manager. I know how to do my job." Unlike some people who clearly wandered in from the street thinking they could intimidate their way into accommodations they can't afford. "I'm not intimidating anyone. I'm asking to check into my reservation." "There is no reservation. Are you calling me incompetent?" Her voice rose, performative, calculated. "You know what? I've had enough. This is harassment." She grabbed the phone. "Security? Front desk. I have an aggressive individual refusing to leave. He's threatening me. Send everyone immediately." 90 seconds later, 4 security guards surrounded Andre. 3 white men, 1 black woman whose name tag read, Williams. Williams looked uncomfortable, eyes moving between Andre and Patricia. Patricia rushed toward them, her voice breathless, trembling. "Thank God you're here. He's been harassing me for 10 minutes. Demanding a room that doesn't exist. Getting aggressive. Making threats. I feel unsafe." Every word a lie. But Andre knew how this looked. Black man. Casual clothes. Late night. White woman saying she felt threatened. This was how Philando Castile ended up shot. How Breonna Taylor ended up dead. How George Floyd ended up with a knee on his neck. Williams stepped forward, positioning herself between Andre and the other guards. "Sir, can you explain what's happening?" Andre took a slow breath, kept his hands visible, made his voice calm. "I have a reservation that's not showing in the system. I offered to book a new room. I showed confirmation and ID. Now I'm being treated like a criminal for asking questions." "That's not true." Patricia's voice went higher. "He's been aggressive. Demanding. Refusing to accept we're fully booked." "The availability board shows open rooms," Andre said quietly. One of the younger guards, David, glanced at the board. "Ms. Hendricks, we do have rooms available. I just checked someone in 30 minutes ago." Patricia's head whipped toward him. "The system isn't accurate, David. Stop questioning me and do your job." Williams pulled out her radio. "I'm going to call the night manager." "No need." A male voice, authoritative. Richard Voss, general manager, silver-haired in an expensive suit despite the hour. Andre had met Voss twice at corporate events, both times in a $3,000 suit. Now Voss looked at Andre and saw someone else entirely. "Patricia, what's going on?" Relief flooded Patricia's face. "Mr. Voss, thank God. This man has been harassing me. Claims he has a reservation that doesn't exist. Refusing to leave. I've been patient, but he's becoming increasingly aggressive." Voss looked at Andre with practiced assessment, taking in the hoodie, sneakers, stubble, drawing conclusions. "All wrong. Sir, I'm Richard Voss, general manager. There seems to be confusion about a reservation. There's no confusion, Andre said, letting steel into his voice. I have a reservation. Your front desk manager decided I don't belong here based on how I'm dressed and has spent 10 minutes inventing reasons to have me removed. That's completely untrue. Patricia's voice shook with wounded pride. I've been nothing but professional. Really? Andre's voice cut through the lobby. You said I clearly can't afford to be here. You said you know the type when you see it. You called security within 5 minutes. So let me ask you directly, Patricia, in front of witnesses, what type did you see when you looked at me? The lobby went silent. Phones were recording. Multiple angles. This was being documented. Patricia's mouth opened and closed. Voss was watching her now, uncertainty creeping into his expression. Sir, Voss said carefully, do you have ID and confirmation? Williams handed Voss Andre's driver's license and phone. As Voss took them, Andre's wallet slipped from his hand. It fell open and several cards slid out, including the American Express Centurion card. The black card. Invitation only. No spending limit. Patricia stared at it, her brain trying to recalculate. Voss looked at the ID. His eyes widened. Mr. Coleman? He looked at the confirmation. His face went pale. Andre Coleman? His fingers flew to the computer, typing urgently. The typing slowed. Stopped. He stared at the screen like it had just delivered devastating news. Oh my God. His voice barely a whisper. Patricia, this is Andre Coleman. He owns this hotel. He owns the entire company. Complete silence. Even the kinetic sculpture seemed to stop. Patricia's face drained of color. What? Voss repeated, voice shaking. The man you just called security on owns this building. Patricia looked at Andre, then Voss, then back. That's impossible. The SO wouldn't show up dressed like. She stopped, realizing. Dressed like what, Patricia? Andre's voice was soft, dangerous. Like someone who just got off a delayed flight? Or like someone you assumed couldn't afford to be here based on the color of his skin? Race had nothing to do. No. Andre turned to Voss. Pull up security footage from 11:45 p.m. tonight. A white male checking in. Voss's fingers flew. The screen on the wall flickered to life. Timestamp, 11:47 p.m. A white man in a sweatshirt and baseball cap. Patricia checking him in with a warm smile. No questions. No skepticism. 3 minutes from approach to keycard. His name was Josh Miller, Voss said quietly. Walk in. No reservation. Patricia found him a room immediately. Andre looked at Patricia. A white man with no reservation in sweatpants gets a room with a smile. I show up with confirmation, ID, and a black card, and I get accused of fraud and threatened with arrest. Explain the difference. Patricia's jaw worked. That's different. Different how? This is entrapment. Her voice changed to anger. You came in looking like that on purpose? To test us? To trap me? This is a setup. Andre felt something cold settle in his chest. I came in looking like a tired traveler. You decided what that meant based on your biases. And now you're angry that your racism has consequences. I am not racist. I have black friends. I voted for Obama. I don't see color. If you don't see color, then you don't see me. And you definitely didn't treat me the same as Josh Miller. You saw color. You made assumptions. You acted on them. That's textbook discrimination. This isn't fair. Tears streamed down Patricia's face. Angry tears. You're ruining my life over one mistake. I have 2 kids. I'm a single mother. 23 years in hospitality. And you're destroying everything because you wanted to play gotcha. This isn't about one mistake. You profiled me from the moment I approached. You refused to do your job. You lied to security about me being aggressive. You were prepared to have me arrested. And you've probably done this to other people who don't own the building. People who couldn't demand the footage. People who just had to swallow their humiliation and leave. He turned to Voss. I want full security footage. I want Patricia's employment file. And I want an emergency meeting with your executive team in 1 hour. Voss was sweating. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Mr. Coleman, I am profoundly sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. Action does. Andre looked at Patricia, who was staring at him with hatred now. You're going to cost me my job, she said. My kids will suffer. And for what? Your ego? No. For your choices. Your assumptions. Your refusal to treat me like a human being. Life isn't fair, Patricia. But sometimes consequences are. He turned to Williams. You tried to de-escalate. You asked questions. You didn't just accept her version. You're now head of security, pending review. Williams's eyes widened. Sir, thank you. Andre looked at the other guards. The three of you surrounded me without asking questions. You took her word as truth because she's a manager and I'm a black man in a hoodie. That ends now. This story gets even more intense. If you want to see what happens when Andre tears apart the entire system, smash that subscribe button. Do you think Patricia's firing was justified? Let me know in the comments. By 3 a.m., the conference room was full. 6 exhausted executives and Patricia, mascara-stained, at the end of the table. Andre stood at the head. He changed into jeans and a button-down but kept the sneakers. He wanted them to remember. It's 3 a.m. Let me show you why you're here. He played the security footage. Patricia barely looking at Andre. The conversation escalating. Her calling security with lies about aggression. Then the footage of Josh Miller. Patricia's warm smile. No questions. No suspicion. Can anyone explain the difference? Silence. The only variable was race. Patricia saw a black man in casual clothes and decided I was a threat. She profiled me, lied about me, tried to have me removed. Patricia, you're terminated. Effective immediately. Patricia's face crumbled. Please. My kids. I need this job. And they need a mother who doesn't judge people by skin color. Maybe losing this job will teach you what 8 months of employment didn't. She stood, grabbing her purse. This is wrong. You set me up. I came in looking human. You decided that wasn't good enough. You're done. Security will escort you out. After Patricia left, Andre turned to the others. This isn't just about Patricia. This is systemic. I had my team pull data. This property has had 29 discrimination complaints in 18 months. Only 2 resulted in disciplinary action. The rest were resolved with compensation. You paid people to be quiet about discrimination but didn't address it. He pulled up a document. New protocols, effective immediately across all Meridian properties. Independent audit of all complaints from the past 3 years. New reporting system where employees can report directly to corporate HR. Mystery shoppers to test for bias. Mandatory in-depth training. Monthly culture meetings. And executive accountability. Your bonuses are now tied to diversity metrics. He looked at Voss. Richard, you hired Patricia without adequate screening. You created an environment where complaints got buried. You're on probation. 6 months. Another incident like this, you're done. Voss looked like he'd aged 10 years. I understand, sir. I accept full responsibility. Andre looked at James Crawford, Director of Security. James, Williams told me she reported discrimination patterns to you multiple times over 4 years. What did you do? Crawford shifted uncomfortably. I counseled the team. Reminded them of policy. But you didn't escalate. Didn't investigate. You're suspended pending full investigation. If it shows you suppressed complaints, you're terminated. Andre closed his laptop. I built this company because I believe everyone deserves to be seen. Tonight proved that belief isn't enough. We need systems. Accountability. Leadership that actively protects diversity, not just tolerates it. Simone Baptiste, the black head of housekeeping, spoke quietly after the others left. Mr. Coleman, what you did tonight mattered. Not just for you. For every person of color who works here. Who's been followed, questioned, made to feel like they don't belong. They needed to see someone with power use it to protect people without power. How long have you witnessed this, Simone? She smiled sadly. 40 years in this industry. But tonight was different. You didn't let it slide. You held people accountable. Your father would be proud. Alone in the conference room, Andre sat with his exploding phone. The video had gone viral. Over 1 million views in 6 hours. Black so denied room in his own hotel was trending worldwide. But all he could think about was his father. Dead at 43. 46 traffic stops. A lifetime of being seen as suspicious. His father had taught him to comply. To survive. But his father was dead. Maybe survival wasn't enough anymore. We're almost at the end, but the aftermath will shock you. Stay subscribed to see how one night changes everything. What changes would you implement if you were Andre? Drop your ideas below. The video went viral in a way that felt inevitable. By dawn, 3 million views. By noon, 10 million. By day's end, everywhere. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Local stations camped outside the Meridian Grand. Social media exploded. The footage was damning. Patricia's contempt. Her certainty. The way she looked at Andre like he was dirt. Then the reveal, Voss going pale, Patricia's world crumbling. The comments section became a battlefield. People debated whether Patricia deserved to lose her job. Whether Andre was too harsh. Whether this was really about race or just a misunderstanding. Within 24 hours, internet detectives found everything about Patricia. Her address. Her children's schools. Her social media history. Posts about thugs during BLM protests, Blue Lives Matter content, a Trump rally photo. Her ex-husband came forward. I'm not surprised. Patricia always had these views. It's part of why we divorced. She'd make comments about neighbors, about people in stores. Her previous employers revealed she'd been let go from 2 other hospitality jobs for similar issues. 3 days later, Patricia posted an apology on a new Instagram account. I want to sincerely apologize for my actions on November 14th. I made an error in judgment and allowed my concern for hotel security to cloud my professional judgment. I never intended to cause harm, and I deeply regret that my actions have been interpreted as discriminatory. I'm committed to learning and growing from this experience. Andre read it in his office and felt nothing. No anger. No satisfaction. Just exhaustion. The apology avoided the real words. Error in judgment instead of racial profiling. Interpreted as discriminatory instead of was discriminatory. It was damage control, not genuine reflection. Jennifer Martinez, his COO, appeared at his door. The board wants a statement from you. About Patricia's apology. Some people are saying you were too harsh. Andre typed a response. I've seen Patricia Hendrick's apology. She didn't make an error in judgment. She profiled me based on race. She lied to security. She attempted to weaponize law enforcement against me for existing while black. I don't take pleasure in her losing her job. But I won't apologize for holding her accountable. Because if I wasn't the CEO, I might have been arrested, killed, injured, or worse. Patricia made choices. Now she's living with consequences. That's not vindictive. That's accountability. And if more people faced real consequences for discrimination, maybe we'd see less of it. The statement went viral within hours. His mother called immediately. Baby, I saw your statement. I'm proud of you. Your father spent his whole life swallowing this. It killed him. So don't you dare apologize for standing up. 3 weeks later, the audit results came in. Every Meridian property had issues. Patterns of discrimination in hiring, promotion, treatment of guests and staff. Complaints that had been buried. Training that was ignored. Andre fired 9 executives across 6 properties. Demoted 12 more. Put 23 on probation. Hired a VP of diversity and inclusion with real power and budget. Implemented transparent salary bands to prevent pay discrimination. Created anonymous reporting systems with third-party investigation. Established quarterly diversity audits with public accountability. The hospitality industry watched. Some praised him. Others criticized him for overreacting. But ripple effects emerged. 3 other hotel chains announced similar audits. 2 hired diversity officers. The American Hotel Association issued new guidelines on preventing discrimination. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was movement. 6 months later, Andre returned to the Meridian Grand. The new front desk manager, Jasmine Green, a young black woman promoted from guest services, greeted him warmly. "Welcome back, Mr. Coleman. Your usual suite is ready." As he walked through the lobby, he noticed changes. Diverse staff at every position. Guests of all races being greeted with equal warmth. A small plaque at the front desk. "Everyone deserves to be seen." But he also noticed something internal. The hypervigilance he now carried. The way he calculated risk in every interaction. The way he noticed who looked at him, how long, what judgment might be forming behind their eyes. Patricia had been fired. Systems had changed. Policies had been rewritten. But Andre had changed too, in ways harder to measure. He'd won the confrontation. Implemented reforms. Sparked industry-wide conversation. But what he'd lost was more subtle. Some sense of safety. Some belief that his success could shield him from bias. In his presidential suite, Andre stood at the window overlooking Lake Michigan. Everything he'd built. Everything he owned. A portfolio worth hundreds of millions. Respect from industry peers. Power to change corporate culture. But ownership didn't protect you from being seen as suspicious. Success didn't prevent someone from calling security on you. Money couldn't buy the right to exist without justification. His father had known that truth. Had lived it. Had died from the accumulated stress at 43. Andre was 57 now, 14 years beyond what his father had been granted. He thought about those 46 traffic stops. The lifetime of having to prove you weren't a threat. The cardiovascular toll of constant vigilance. The heart attack that came too early. "I own the building now, Dad," Andre whispered to the glass. "I outlived you by 14 years. Built everything you dreamed of. But I still can't stop them from seeing me as suspicious first. Still can't walk into my own lobby without someone deciding I don't belong." His phone buzzed. An email from a journalism student. "Thank you for not backing down. My father is a black executive who's experienced similar things but never felt he could speak up. He showed me your video and cried. He said, maybe things are finally changing. I hope he's right." Andre stared at those words. Maybe things are finally changing. He wanted to believe it. But he'd seen the audit results. He knew the depth of the problem. He understood that Patricia wasn't an outlier. She was just the one who got caught. Things weren't changing fast enough. But maybe they were changing at all. Small victories. Incremental progress. One conversation, one policy, one consequence at a time. Patricia was gone. But there would be other Patricias. Other moments in other lobbies where someone's skin color would be judged before their humanity. The difference now was consequences. Andre had shown that bias, when it targeted someone with resources, could cost everything. But the bitter truth remained. It shouldn't require a CEO to get profiled for consequences to exist. Every person deserved that protection. Every person deserved to be seen. Tomorrow Andre would visit the Miami property. Then Boston. Then L. Working through every hotel in his portfolio, measuring changes, demanding accountability, pushing for more. Patricia had taught him something unexpected. Not about racism. He'd learned those lessons from his father's 46 traffic stops, from a lifetime of being watched, questioned, suspected. Patricia had taught him about the limits of patience. The cost of silence. The exhaustion that comes from making yourself smaller so others feel comfortable. His father had spent his life making himself smaller. Complying. De-escalating. Teaching his son to survive interactions that shouldn't have been dangerous in the first place. That strategy had bought survival, but it had also bought a heart attack at 43. Andre had lived past that age. Built an empire. Changed an industry. He had the luxury of fighting back. And he was done being small. The fight wasn't over. It would never be over. But standing in his suite, looking out at the city he'd conquered professionally but couldn't navigate safely in casual clothes, Andre Coleman made a choice. He would keep fighting. Keep pushing. Keep demanding that everyone deserves to be seen as human before being categorized, judged, or dismissed. For his father who never got the chance to fight back. For the housekeepers and valets and maintenance workers who faced microaggressions daily without the power to challenge them. For every black person who'd been told through word or action that they didn't belong in spaces they'd earned the right to occupy. Patricia was gone. But the work, the real work of changing hearts, minds, systems, and cultures, that work continued. And Andre Coleman, 57 years old, CEO, millionaire, building owner, was just getting started. If this story moved you, if it made you think differently about bias and accountability, subscribe and share this video. Keep the conversation going. Because change doesn't happen when we're comfortable. It happens when we refuse to look away. What's one action you can take in your own life to fight bias and create a more inclusive environment? Whether at work, in your community, or in daily interactions, what will you do differently? Drop your commitment in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable.